Now, this, I hope, will teach you all a wonderful lesson. You know, stories, as far as grandmother's concerned, should be not only interesting, but they should help to teach us the lessons we need to learn to be really happy. And this is called A Tale of Two Books. Now, see which one of these you are. One evening, careless Carl sat in a chair beside the table. There was a scowl on his face because he was to study his lesson. Presently he closed the book, saying, "I can never learn this lesson. It's too hard, and besides the page is torn where I must study." He had hardly said these words when a tall, shadowy figure appeared at the open window. Careless Carl glanced up quickly, wondering who was at the window. He could see nothing there, for at that moment the wind blew, and his eyes were filled with sand. The tall, shadowy figure slipped into the room and sang softly, "The Sandman am I. Lullaby, lullaby. I'm blowing the sand into each sleepy eye." Then as careless Carl's head began to nod, the Sandman nodded in a soft crooning voice. "A drowsy, drowsy head bent down is going with me to Dreamland Town." "How are you, paper-covered book?" cried Linen-covered Book as he jumped gaily up on the table. "Indeed, I am not very well," paper-covered Book replied. "Careless Carl straps me so tightly that my back aches all the time." "I'm sorry," said Linen-covered Book. "You certainly do look like a poor lame soldier. I have had better luck. I belong to Tidy Tom, and he's very careful with me. My back is always firm and straight, for he never straps me too tightly. Tidy Tom's hands are always clean when he studies his lessons, so I have no soiled leaves. He is very careful not to tear me, and there are no marks on my pages." "Oh, how I envy you," said the other book. "Not only are my pages soiled by dirty finger marks, but they are marked with crayons and pencils, and they're torn, and they're bent. Careless Carl said this very night that he could not study his lessons because my pages were so badly torn, but who does he think did it? No clean boy will ever want to read me again. I am ruined, that's all there is to it. Why, the other day," he added, "careless Carl turned the corners of one of my pages right into a dog's ear. Oh, how I wanted to growl like a dog at him. Carl would have been surprised if I had barked 'Bow wow' once he tossed me into the air, and my leaves were bent as I fell. Yesterday, when it rained, careless Carl left me out of doors. Now I just look old and wrinkled. I need to be taken to a book hospital." "I, too, was once very unhappy," said Linen-covered Book. "But one day Tidy Tom's mother called him when he was studying his lesson. Tom jumped up very quickly and turned me downward on my face while he ran upstairs to see what his mother wanted. Oh, how it did hurt! It seemed as if it were hours before Tidy Tom returned to the room and lifted me up again. I suppose that I looked pale, for ever since that time Tidy Tom has used a nice bookmark. Now he lays me carefully on my side before he leaves me." "Ooh, ooh," blew East Wind through the open window. East Wind sang as he blew. "I blow and blow into his eyes, and I blow the sand up to the skies." Careless Carl rubbed his eyes and stared sleepily about him. He looked for the two books, but Linen-covered Book was gone. Then he reached for an eraser. Oh, he felt so bad. He cleaned all the ugly marks from the pages of paper-covered Book. He did the best he could to patch the torn pages, and he covered the book with new paper. Though careless Carl was still feeling a little sleepy, he thought he heard the book say, "Well, thank you, careless Carl. You have become a kind boy. I will not call you careless Carl any more, for you have made me very happy."